Hey there, this is your pal Pally with the Git Er Raid guides to Warlords of Draenor Challenge Mode dungeons. These guides are not for gold mode, they are just for getting you through the challenge mode at a decent clip and pointing out the hard and easy parts. You can expect to get maybe a silver or bronze following these tips, and hopefully not wiping on any boss encounters or trash. This guide details the Grimrail Depot Challenge Mode. So first up, the actual first pull of this challenge mode is not a pull. If you can use invisibility pots, this is the time to do it. You want to skip pretty much every single one of these trash packs. I myself do a camouflage thing. The rest of my group used a invisibility pot. The 18-second variety can get you all the way through the trash and whatnot, and you'll be fine. This first boss is just about the same as heroic mode, and of course, you know, with all of these guides, I would hope that you are familiar with all of these mechanics on heroic mode and know what the boss encounters do and what most of the trash packs do, but I'll certainly be pointing out hairy things. Again, major damage point here with the missile barrage, all that kind of stuff. DPS has to focus on the big dude, because you can't really target the other one unless you're in the right place. And of course, when you get him knocked down, that goblin is taking double damage, so be sure to blast him up as much as you possibly can. We lusted on this pull. Not sure if that's ideal. Probably is ideal because there's a lot of trash between here and the next boss. One thing other to point out, when he targets everyone with that barrage thing here that it has on the ground, if you do get hit by that, that's pretty close to a one-shot if you're low. It's maybe maybe takes about 75% of your health. So be careful there when he's doing the targeting stuff during his normal phase. Of course, the tank needs to make sure to get the goblin knocked off the first time. It probably would be a wipe. If you didn't get him knocked off in time. So tanks, make sure you point him in the right direction. Again, challenge mode, you know, that's the same thing as what you would do in heroic mode. As we're getting down to the end of this fight, it looks like we've got the goblin pretty low, so we're focusing now on the big dude, trying to get them both low. If you kill the big dude first, the goblin will sort of enrage and just start doing massive AoE. If you kill the goblin first, the big guy enrages and pretty well slaughters your tank. So you do want to try to time this so that both of them die around the same time. Again, not too difficult to do at this gear level and such, just making sure our tank dies there, fortunately. But quick B-res and we're back up in business. We're killing the goblin here. We get hit goblin really freaking low, switch to the big guy, kill the big guy, goblin does a little AoE, like time for plan B, nope, time for you're dead. So that's the first boss. We sit around for a little while here, talking about what we're doing. Again, this is probably the second time we've run through this instance. Again, this is not a gold mode, perfect, etc. strategy. We waste a lot of time in different places and drinking and all that other stuff. What we are looking at is we do need to pull one ad from the previous room, and our mage will eventually bring that guy, as marked with a square, he'll bring that guy up in here, and the tank will pick them up. But again, you proceed as normal through this group. Tanks and healers, watch out for this guy on the staircase here. He does put a nasty debuff and bleed. So you do want to sort of take care of that and make sure that your tank is doing okay. You'll see your tank dies a little later. The gold mode strategy apparently is to sort of take these guys up the staircase as quickly as you possibly can. Again, holding that square guy and just, you know, cleaving him down with the other guys up there. Obviously, this is a hairy staircase, a very narrow place, and you do want to watch out for the AoE that's being shot down. As soon as you engage that next guy up, it does stop the AoE, so you can all sort of clump back up and do what you need to do. Again, the bleed and the debuff from these guys together it's proved to be a deadly combo for our tank right about here. Yep. But we had 2 druids in our group. We had a boomkin and resto druid, so we had some quick battle reses and such. And of course we had a mage and a hunter as the DPS, and so those classes are very good at kiting things. So the tank guys, yet again, we were just like, whatever. We'll just kite around. We'll be fine. Guy's dead. We single res the tank. Again, you don't want to have them release, although releasing at this point might not be too bad. I'm not sure where it would take you back to, but you certainly don't want him to release and have to run from the beginning because you skipped all of that trash in the beginning. So if you do wipe on the boss, probably, the first boss that is, probably wouldn't be a bad idea to just reset the instance, and that resets the 10-minute cooldown on your invis pot and such. So, again, getting up the stairs, getting up this platform as quickly as possible is a good thing. And certainly it's also good to have someone who can, again, these are some gold mode tips, you know, we're not gold mode runners, but if you can get someone to blink through or get through that door quickly to start the RP, as our mage just did, that would be good. And certainly be skipping the RP. Now, this starts to be the most difficult part of the instance. You can see we got about 8 minutes left on gold mode at this point, so that's about 12 minutes in, I believe. Or 6 minutes or so. This is a very short timer on this one, actually. This trash through these cars are pretty much what I would call the hardest part of this instance. The gunners are obviously, you know them from heroic mode. You can see our tank takes 4 stacks and is just really getting hammered. Good save by our healer there. But really got to watch out for those gunners. If you want to use CC here just to, again, get through it, that's cool. We were sort of trying to push and see if we could make silver. We didn't, unfortunately, but you may want to use CC on things like the gunners, the grenade guys. Just really be careful on things. Now this group has this big guy who I've got targeted because I have a very specific job. You can see a debuff on the little right side of the guy's frame there. That is for every successful melee attack, he's getting bigger and he's doing more damage. I'm responsible for dispelling that in Rage. That can be dispelled by druids, by hunters, the rogues as well. Make sure you get that off. If you can't get that off, if you don't have a group comp that allows you to get that off, probably want to be kiting this guy back through the other car. As you can see, as you'll see in future polls here, we do certainly have a number of tank deaths and have to do some kiting. But again, as a hunter, I'm just dispelling that in Rage, and we're AoEing the rest of the trash down. That big guy's sort of the big deal for the tanks here. This next trash pack has the Cinder Seers and Grenade guys. The Cinder Seers, as you'll see here in a second, really wreck our tank. He ends up dropping, the grenade drops him there, and then that puddle of nastiness sort of puts the tank out of line of sight of the healer, and he ends up dying. But certainly the Cinder Seers, really got to make sure you get them down, because they'll drop those puddles all over the place. Now, you'll see here in a second we are going to kite as DPS, which is fine and dandy. Do realize that the run back is not very far. Certainly our tank has released, and he's almost back. He should be in range now. Yep, there he goes. And he can pick up the stuff pretty quickly. So, but the only thing is to worry about is line of sight of these doors. It gets really nasty. So be careful to not mess up your line of sighting and all that other kind of jazz. End up getting scared and running into the next car, but oh well. I'm back here and doing this. Again, that group, gotta watch out for the Seers. And this is the third car, and this is really nasty. You can see the group comp there. There's a gunner, 2 gunners, I believe, and that just wrecks our tank again. We end up actually pulling the 2 groups in here, which is just ridiculous. You can't do that. There's fire on the ground from the Seers. There's the barrage things flying all over the place. This is probably one where you walk in there, you nicely CC, and get things all taken care of. Again, We do use the kiting. Our tank and our healer are dead. Our DPS just kite on back. Try to focus down the nasty ads, like the gunners and the cinder seers, etc., etc. But most everything can be slowed. We got a frost trap down. We got vortexes. We got all that fun stuff. There comes our tank. Our healer should be following soon. But this whole pull is just a big old mess of kiting. There goes the mage down. We're going into the last car here, trying to get through it all. Again, messy pull. This is certainly this actually doesn't delay us too badly. We do end up wiping on the next boss, which is after like 5 minutes of beating the encounter. So that certainly cost us our silver there. Yeah. Remember this big guy? He's in one of these groups. I believe he's in the second group. He of course needs to be dispelled. He's already got, I think, looks like 6 stacks. So not a good dealio. Not a good deal. Most people still dying here. But of course we're already to the back where people spawn. So if you get back this far, just keep rezzing. Tank keeps rezzing. You don't take any durability damage for dying in challenge mode, so no worries there. I end up waiting to release because I saw this fire puddle, but I'm like, oh, we're so close. I could just release. So I end up releasing, moving quickly. Me and the mage end up, I believe, taking care of this ad back here. This bombardier type guy. Again, very messy. We're spending a lot of time on this. If you did some proper CC, if you watched where things were, this would be not how things go. But of course, it's always nice to see how other people mess up so that you don't do the same. Alright, so that was mess. That was a big old freaking mess. And now we've got 2 minutes left to make gold, which we obviously don't. But of course, if you're running back, having aspect of the pack or some sort of roar to get people back into the mix is great. And now we're on the final trash pack of this section, so these train cars. We try to CC. There's a boomer, a grenade guy, and 2 cinder seers. Try to cinder seer that back one. I try to CC it again. It ends up getting broken. I'm not sure why. Again, tank gets wrecked. We end up kiting. But this trash pack is not as deadly as the other one. The cinder seers just sort of drop that stuff on the ground. It's hell for melee. But again, we're using quite a bit of slows, stuns, etc. just to make sure our tank can get back in the mix. And, finish off all this stuff. So again, cinder seers, watch out for them. Gunners, tank's got to get away from that stuff. You can see the debuff on the tank right now. And probably want to focus down the cinder seers and gunners in the trash pack. The other guys are not that bad. Alright. Not too much going on here. We are finally defeating this pack after another run back from the tank. He was not exactly too happy about this one. I mean, run back all the time. But it's cool. It's cool. We made it. Yay! Alright, now we're hopping up to the first boss. We do a bit of talking. You'll see the sort of time move forward and wipe forward. That's all good. We were just sort of talking strategy. And as I said, we wiped one time, so this is the second pull on this boss for us. One quick note on this. When you're in this little bitty room, at one point he will turn and do this, Blackrock Mortar. You do need to move. He'll do that at least once in this little room. And of course, as usual, on heroic mode, he will get to a certain percentage and run like a girl to his cannon. Phase 2 begins, and here comes the funness. So, alright, you get the suppressive fire, which I immediately get, so I don't get to do anything, of course. Everything else is the same with respect to the ads that come out. You will need to focus on using the weapons appropriately. So there are shrapnel, there are grenades, and there are rockets, I believe. If I'm not using the proper terms, that's alright. These gunners here will drop the shrapnel. Cool. I end up getting those, and you need to actually save those shrapnels. So if you, as a DPS, pick up a shrapnel, save it. You need to save it. You'll need it for the last phase. You'll laugh at what happens in that phase. If you do get a rocket, like our mage did a little bit ago, you do need to hop in the cannon and blow up the boss. And blow up the cannon itself. Otherwise, if you pick up a grenade, which I don't believe anyone does at this point. See, I picked up shrapnel. I am hanging on to it. You can see the little debuff there with how many shrapnel things I have. Someone else is likely to pick up shrapnel at this point. Okay, cool. Our druid boomkin, you can see, has the grenades. Grenades are used to clear out the ads. So you can see he dropped one down, boom. All those ads dead, nothing flat. Cool. Now I've got a rocket and I've got a shrapnel, so I'm getting into a cannon to get that rocket's, shot at the boss. I think it's a mortar, actually. Boom. Big deal there. I get out of it. I don't use the shrapnel, because again, the shrapnel's used later. You'll see it here in a second. Our boomkin also still has another grenade to throw out. Boom, all the ads dead. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Of course, don't be standing in fire. We sort of hung out in this general vicinity to pick up things and get ads down. Probably only one more rocket will be necessary to get the boss out here. Not sure if we're going to get it soon. I don't see anyone with that rocket yet. The boomer has the rocket that we need here, so we'll get that here in a second. Suppressive fire, of course, always means you need to hide around these pillars. Our tank gets really low there. There's a lot of fire. It's really hard to heal on the move, all that kind of stuff. Our druid could probably hang out in between. Tank does die. Again, quick res from all of our stuff. If we had a grenade, this would be an absolutely perfect time. Our mage actually hops in the cannon, uses the shrapnel to blow up the ads to get them out of the way. Tank dies again, but here's the fun part with the shrapnel. Boom, boom, boom. Look at how quickly the health of the boss dies. Lols. So that's why you hold shrapnel. Right there, phase 3 of that encounter is just like gone. Again, we're about a minute from missing silver. Oh well. We do end up getting bronze on this encounter. And of course we're rezzing, and you do need to walk through the next section. And what I will note here is a perfect example. When you see the fire coming down here, if it's coming from the front to the back. So right now, you should probably run to the left. If you can see on the left side, Agathon gets a fire debuff because he ran through the fire. So the fire spawns on one side and then comes back up the other way. So just if fire is there and then it's disappearing, just run the other way. Or run on that side so you don't get it. These guys, the Farseers, are probably the deadlier packs here. Probably only want to pull one or two of them to do the chain lightning. As you can see there, they will storm shield themselves off, and they will put a thunder zone down, which does some nasty AoE damage. I believe someone dies here at some point soon. But you do want to be careful about how quickly you pull stuff here. Again, the Farseers are nasty. The captain does the spear. And of course, like all of the bosses in Heroic Dungeons so far, these guys, they're trying to teach you the mechanics of the boss fight upcoming, so all the Thunder Zone stuff and all the spear chucking and all that other kind of stuff is typical. Or let's see, someone's going to die here, I'm pretty sure. Anywho, kill Farseers, AoE the other packs down as best you can. And of course, don't stand in the thunder stuff. We do end up wiping. You can see we have 24 minutes left to get bronze. Plenty of time to get bronze. And that's what I've seen so far with many of the challenge modes. If you can get through packs at a good clip and you don't have a lot of deaths to things, there's our druid healer dying. Our tank ends up hanging on with our boomkin doing some healing touch spamming. Good job there. Good use of tools there. But anyway, but in general, it feels like if you can get through the bosses and not wipe, and you can get through all the trash and not wipe, you're going to get a silver out of these challenge modes, just from, you know, basically generally getting through things at a decent pace. So that's what we've seen so far with these challenge modes. So again, this is not gold. I haven't optimized the strategy and told you what ads to pull first and pull together. A lot of gold has to do with pulling a lot of packs together and CCing this and using stun after stun, AoE stun after AoE stun over and over again to get things down. We haven't pulled all the trash yet on here. There's a couple more loaders left to go, but they're pretty well fodder. You just get them down quickly and it's over. The boss will come down immediately after you do this. Again, we wiped on this boss just at the end, just freaking 1%. So I'm going to not show you that wipe, and we'll go into the pull where we actually kill the boss. This boss is completely similar to Heroic. You do have to worry about the freezing traps. You do have to worry about these thunder zones and everything around. It's also sort of good for range to be spread out. You want to, there's at least sort of 3 sections to this. You'll see he lights up, you know, that's bottom left section, the middle section, and then the final one. So if you can sort of stick yourself about where I am right now, of course, well, I had to move for a freezing snare. Don't want to get in those. You can see he sort of covers thirds of the platform in a sense. It depends on how much they'll do horizontally, but you can sort of try to keep yourself on a border of, you know, the middle or back section, the front section, the middle section, just so you can move out of the diffused energy pretty quickly, because as you can see, it's pretty well wrecking our group. And he does it sort of on the timer of the boss, how many times or you know, the health of the boss itself. So it is something you can slow and control a little bit. There's, as you can see, the whole back section is not used. Our druid healer gets trapped and is taking some serious damage right there. Not good. That's all good. Got through it. And as this fight winds down, more and more of the platform, you can see, boom, more and more of the platform's going to get covered until you get to the end here, where the last sort of pass by the dragon covers almost the entire platform. There will be a section that you can get through. Tank dies here. But boom, there's a little section right here in the middle. Really hard to find. Got to make sure you find it quickly. Tank ends up dying, I end up dying, but we do finally kill it and get Grimrail Depot Challenger Bronze. Here's the RP for all your RP people. And again, there's lots of tips that could be done here for gold. It's all good. There's all sorts of things to do better there. But I do want to give you this guide to show you just how to get through this if you want to do your daily challenge mode, and Grimrail happens to be it. Thanks all for watching. Appreciate all of this, and I appreciate your comments, and if you have any additional tips, cool, post them in the comments below. Otherwise, this is your pal Pally, and please comment, like, subscribe to the video if you found it helpful, and have a good one.